And if you're not a visual person, write a little, like, script it down. This morning when this bitch tried me, I stared at her in her face, I took a deep breath, and I did not slap her. And I remembered that she's really miserable. You feel me? Like, script it out. I don't know if that was a good, like, scripting thing, but you feel me? Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your girl, Miss Mystical Rose, back with another video. In today's video, we're going to talk all about shadow work. I'm going to be talking to y'all about what it is, how to do it, and why you should do it. And I'm also going to be dropping 3 journal prompts to help y'all out. If it's your first time stopping by my channel, what's good? My name is Michele, but I go by Miss Mystical Rose, and I basically create content to help you create your optimal life experience, because heaven on earth is very real, and I want you to experience that for yourself. So let's get into the video. What even is shadow work? In order for us to talk about shadow work and like how to do it and why we should do it, first we have to understand what it is. When we talk about the shadow, that's kind of the parts of us that we're not most proud of, but a lot of times we make excuses for her, right? Like for me, it used to be my temper. Like, I used to have this habit, like, I used to really let the outside world, like, change how I vibed, pretty much. Like, it's really, I was a thermometer. You know, a thermometer responds to the environment. So if the environment was crazy or something that was overwhelming to me, I would let it influence how I behaved, and I wasn't proud of that. And I used to overindulge in weed, I used to overindulge in food. So those are all aspects of the shadow. It's just parts of you that you know you aren't really proud of. The way you think, maybe your thought processes that you aren't most proud of. A lot of times, like, the shadow is the part of us that's like, wow, if people really knew how I was, they probably wouldn't fuck with me. Like, I want you, and I wanted this for myself too, just to be proud and happy with who I am, like when no one's looking, and also when I'm around people. And like some other aspects of like your shadow self is jealousy. Like, you see other people doing their thing, and it's like in their faces, or you know, you might try to be like, oh, da 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 da, good for them, but subconsciously you're kind of like, why not me, and da da da, and I wish I could do that. Just beating yourself up. Like, your shadow is just the one that's lying to you and talk you out of realizing just the best life you can have for yourself. So that's basically what your shadow is. Now, why should we care about our shadow? We should care about our shadow because that's really how we step into our power. You need power. You have to have something that's driving you. Like, literally, you have a remote, right? Your remote has to have batteries. Why? Because your remote needs power to work. You need power to work. And then it just steps us into the freedom of choice. It steps us into choosing to respond versus just reacting. A lot of us, when we're operating in our shadow selves, we're just reacting to the outside world. And the thing about reacting and why we want to respond instead of react is because when we react, it's like we're involuntarily giving our energy away. We're involuntarily giving our power away. And we need that. We need our power to power ourselves. We need our power to push our ideas from the mental into the physical. We need our power to manage ourselves and our responses to the outside world. That's why you're so stressed, is because you have no power stored up within you to actually respond to adversity and respond to just the difficult parts of your existence, because you're giving your power away to other things because you're reacting, because you're shadow. Like, I know for me, an example of this was like, I used to spend all week reacting, getting upset about things, giving people my energy, you know, like being too hard on myself, talking down on myself, just not being nice to myself. I used to spend the whole week doing this. All right, that's why they call it weekdays. You know, it literally weakens you during the week. I was at work and I was reacting to things at work that I had no control over, you know? And so it's like, then when the weekend came, I used to just want to rest. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to create. I didn't want to invest my energy into the things that were actually good for me, like exercising, reading, walking, just things that were really for my highest good. I didn't have any energy to invest in those because I was reacting and involuntarily giving so much of my energy out into the world because I hadn't really tamed or gotten to know my shadow. And for me, it was also really important for me to kind of get my shadow in check, because like I said, I wasn't proud of the fact that when anything would happen, I would just get so worked up. It would be like, bro, it really a lot of times wasn't even as serious as I would make a lot of things. I used to overreact like I don't know what. And then it was like subconsciously though, and behind closed doors, I wasn't proud of how I was reacting. You know, a lot of times, especially if you're someone who like I used to like temper like a toothpick. It just wouldn't take nothing. I used to just get so irritated by so many things in the outside world. Like, I wasn't actually proud of that. You know, I wasn't proud of the fact that I had no patience. I wasn't proud of the fact that every time a car would slow down or get ready to turn, or just somebody wasn't driving how I thought they should drive, I wasn't proud of the fact that I felt the need to react to that and give my energy away. I really wasn't proud of that, because I was like, I feel like I could do better than this. This is some bullshit, you know? And so that's ultimately why it's also important for us to do shadow work, is because I want you to be proud of yourself, just like I wanted to be proud of myself. I want you to be proud of how you're showing up in the world. I want you to be proud of how you're meeting the bullshit with grace, because that's something to be proud of once you learn how to self-manage yourself and kind of get your shadow in check. Right? Now, how do we even begin to do shadow work? Now, the first thing we have to do is to stop making excuses for our mediocrity. I know for me, like with my anger issues that I used to have, I used to always feel like justified because I was right. Oh, well, I'm right, so because I'm right in a situation, I have a right to be upset. I have a right to be worked up. I have a girl, baby girl, baby boy, bring it back in here. Okay, stop making excuses for your mediocrity. Stop being like, oh, well, everybody, okay, so you want to be like everybody? Because last time I checked, most people really aren't pursuing their passion in life. Most people are unhappy and just faking it. Like, most people aren't proud of themselves. So if you want to be like everybody else, if you want to be like most people, be like most people. Most people aren't living a life that they're proud of. But if that's okay with you and you want to be most people, cool. But you're on this video for a reason, so I'm sure that's not okay with you. And what we really have to understand as far as when we're doing shadow work is that our energy is sacred. What you put your attention on grows. So if you're constantly putting your attention on the things about yourself you don't like, the things about the world you don't like, the things about other people you don't like, you're constantly feeding don't like, and don't like things are gonna keep growing in your reality. You're gonna keep experiencing things you don't like because you're putting a lot of your attention on the things you don't like. Nobody's saying that after you start doing shadow work that you're just gonna be this perfect person who, I mean, it's pretty close, so like I ain't even gonna hold you, but it's just that you're gonna like kind of not be bothered by the bullshit. You're gonna learn how to just observe and let things slide and just kind of let it be. Your energy is so sacred. Your attention is so important. What you put your attention on grows. That's why you have these mainstream people who grow, because there's so many people putting their attention and their focus on them. So as far as like how to get into doing the shadow work, the most important question to ask yourself is, when did I choose this? Ask yourself, like, whether your behaviors, your thought patterns, all of that, the things that make up you, the way you perceive the world, the way you act in the world, ask yourself how much of that you consciously chose. And I had to ask myself that. Even when I went vegan, I was like, did I actually ever choose to be a meat eater? A lot of us are not consciously choosing things. We're just doing things because it's what's always been done, and because the majority of people around us are doing the same thing, and we're like, oh, it must be okay. No. Really sit down and take inventory of yourself and really ask yourself, all right, these are the behaviors that I want to work on. These are the thought processes that I want to work on. And ask yourself, when did I consciously choose these thought patterns? And you're gonna find you never consciously chose them. And then the next step from there is to start examining what the root cause was. A big thing for me that I used to deal with, my shadow self, was being too hard on myself. I still catch myself doing that, but I catch it like that and I nip it in the bud just like that, even faster. But I recognize, like, okay, why do I feel the need to just be so hard on myself? Like, girl, you're literally slaying your life and you're just like, you're not doing enough. Like, girl, I need you to get that together, right? And so once I was like, I'm not consciously choosing to be hard on myself. I ask myself, well, where did this come from? Like, what is the root cause of this? And what I found out and what I reflected on and what I was able to understand is that I grew up an only child. I was my mother's only child, and my mom, she didn't mean to, but she used to put pressure on me. Like, and as I got older, she used to apologize for it. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I love my mom. She passed away in 2015. I was like, girl, But yeah, like, I remember as a kid, like, y'all, I used to get A's and B's. I've always been a good student. It's been easy for me to learn. You feel me? And I used to get A's and B's, and I used to come home, and my mom used to be like, well, you can get straight A's, though. You feel me? Like, girl, like, So that kind of created in me, like, this drive to, like, always, girl, you could be doing great, and it's like, but you could do better, because my mom used to say that a lot, and she repented, like I said, as I got older. But see, that's what I'm saying we have to do. We have to pinpoint, okay, these are the thoughts and behaviors that I feel like are not serving me, that are not working in my highest good. That's what it boils down to, is taking inventory. What isn't serving you? What type of thought process? Overthinking does not serve you. Comparison to other people does not serve you. And then really seek to find that root cause. And then once you do that, you have to decide how you would rather respond. What is your desired response? And that is you tapping into your highest self. Now, I talk about your highest self and who that even is in one of my other videos. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And you can check out that video on my channel, like, who is your highest self anyway? And that kind of breaks down. But at the end of the day, when we are able to take a step back and be like, you know what? I ain't feeling that no more. No. I would rather respond like this. That is how we step into our power, and that is how we merge with our higher self even more. And so the last really important and just beautiful and most helpful part of this all is to visualize. Like, really visualize yourself in the same situations you've already been in, and really visualize your new response. Ask yourself, how do I want to respond when I catch myself overthinking? How do I want to respond when I catch myself being a hater? How do I want to respond when I feel myself just overthinking or doing this or that, right? And then actually take a second and sit down and visualize yourself responding that way. And if you're not a visual person, write a little, like, script it down. This morning when this bitch tried me, I stared at her in her face, I took a deep breath, and I did not slap her. And I remembered that she's really miserable. You feel me? Like, script it out. I don't know if that was a good, like, scripting thing. But you feel me? Script out or visualize how you're going to replace the old behaviors. What is going to be your new response to when you catch yourself operating in your shadow in a way that you'd rather not operate? And so to close out this video, I'm just going to give you these 3 journal prompts to get you started with your shadow work. I know that those prompts are really gonna help y'all. At the end of the day, your shadow is begging to have you shine a light on it. Why? Because your shadow wants you to bring it in. Your shadow wants you to coddle it. Your shadow wants you to understand that it's okay. Your shadow wants you to let go of that behavior. Your shadow wants to be seen and acknowledged and comforted, and so it can heal and grow into something beautiful for you. If you haven't already, subscribe, because I'm also going to share with you 3 signs that you need to do some shadow work, because there's some of y'all who are in denial, all right? Some of y'all that's in denial, okay? But I know something in this video resonated with y'all. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you. Like, comment, share if you care, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy healing. Peace.